Hi everyone! Today I wanted to show you my 5 favorite Hoyas. I wanted to change the background a little bit because I feel like when I have my back towards the cabinet area, it looks a little chaotic when I'm editing, and I don't like that. The lighting is even better here, so wanted to change it up. Hope you guys don't mind. The first one is my Hoya pubicalyx. I am so in love with this Hoya. If you watch my Hoya tour video, I got this at a supermarket in Orlando, and it was very cheap. I paid like $12 for a small, it was like a 4-inch pot, and it has grown tremendously. I've taken so many cuttings of this plant, and it just grows extremely fast. It's also extremely thirsty, but maybe it's because the roots are getting pretty large. Like the root ball is probably getting pretty large in there. And it is just so splashy. Some of the leaves are like pretty massive. I love it. And the roots have gone crazy, but unless they start looking a little brown, I'm not going to repot this one again. But yeah, the cuttings, I've been putting them in a new trellis on my only Hoya that's living outside. I want to try and get her to flower. I actually think she might have a peduncle, but I'm not sure. I've heard that pubicalyx can take a little while to flower, so we'll see. But yeah, the first plant is my Hoya pubicalyx Splash. Okay, the next plant, it's like a love and hate relationship that I have with her because I have had to root this plant 3 times, and this time, fingers crossed, I think we're winning. I put this one in moss in a tiny little sauce container, and it gave me massive roots, and I think I'm going to keep her in moss. I heard about a couple of people that have their Hoya undulata living in moss, so that's another plant that I will keep in moss. But this is my clemenciorum. It has no active growth, but it has a lot of roots, a lot of roots. So yesterday I put her in a glass container with no drainage and some perlite, and this is where she's going to live. It's very challenging for me to keep a plant in a no drainage pot and in moss because I tend to overwater my plants that are not in a self-watering system. So I asked somebody in the Hoya group on Facebook, and she told me that she waters her plants that are in moss when the moss is dry, but it doesn't feel like hay. So I'm going to follow her advice. So far, it has worked for me. I have watered the moss when it feels like dry to the touch, but it's not hydrophobic just yet. And I wish I could show y'all the roots, but I don't want to take her out again. I've been taking her out of the moss every single day to make sure that the roots are not rotting. So far, so good. And someone else told me to put keiki paste. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I put some on. I know it can take a little while. Doesn't hurt to try, but hopefully that'll help it spark up a new growth. Because this was not a cheap Hoya, and I was a little disappointed when I received it because it doesn't have a stem. It's literally just the node where the leaves came out. And for me to have had to re-root it 3 times and be able to still root it is a miracle. So if it puts out a growth point, I'll be super ecstatic. But this is my Hoya clemenciorum. All right, the third plant, I feel so fake putting it in one of my favorites. This is my Wilbur China version, and When I got it, it was not very splashy. I was hoping to get a plant that was going to be very splashy. And as she continued to grow, it was not giving me the splash I was looking for. And these lower leaves were turning a little yellow. And they even still look a little light. I don't know if you guys can see that. So because I thought the plant was about to unalive itself, I chopped it to save the top because I still wanted to save the plant. And I left it in my cabinet and it didn't rot. It actually grew a new growth point and it gave me these very splashy leaves. Now this one over here though doesn't look like it's going to be very splashy. So if that's the case, I'm just going to cut again. I think that might help it encourage the splashiness again. But I really like it now. It's so pretty. It even looks a little like pinkish from the sun stress. If you guys saw my video of changing the lights in my cabinet, I switched my lower lights, like the bottom half of my cabinet, to a T8 light, which is a little stronger than the T5, and it's getting me that sun stress that I want on my plants. So let me show you what I did with the top cut. The top gave me some splash. Not bad, it's pretty splashy. But I wanted to see if I can encourage more splash like the other one by cutting it into single nodes. And that's what I did. This is the other end of it. And if it doesn't give me splash, I'll just make it into another plant and put them all together and make it like a nice and bushy plant, similar to my pubicalyx. But we'll see what happens. Again, I'm exposing them to a lot of light. So hopefully cutting them like this, where they had like splashy leaves, it will encourage more of the silver. So this is the top cutting of my Wilbur China. I forgot to show y'all. I put it in water because I know a lot of people root their Hoyas in water, and I wanted to give it a try. I've never rooted Hoyas in water, but as you can see, it's like super, super green. It's not bad, but I like my splash, and if I can encourage a little bit of the splash, that's awesome. So I'm just going to do the same thing I did with the other one. I'm going to continue growing the top cut and propagate it, and eventually, if it doesn't give me the splash, that's fine. I'm just going to put it in another pot and fill it up. All right, so the fourth plant is my Hoya. Oh my God. Sigillatis Borneo. My sigillatis Borneo. This plant has been pretty slow for me. I don't know if that's a normal thing for this type of Hoya, but I feel like it's pretty slow. And even the other kind that I have one that has like longer, thinner leaves. It's also pretty slow. So not sure, but I think it's so pretty. I think that the leaves are growing pretty close to each other, and they have so much silver. So I really like it. I think it has such a cute growth pattern. Like I said, I really love the closed nodes that it has. And when the trellis eventually fills up, I think it's going to look so cute. This is another one that I thought it was going to unalive itself, but it's doing great. It has another growth point that's been super slow. It's only grown one set of leaves, but yeah. It's such a pretty Hoya. I know it's becoming a little more common, but I really like it. And the last Hoya. I did not think I was ever going to have this Hoya and be in good health here with us, because I had already gotten this Hoya before. I got it as a single node cutting from Etsy, and I killed it right away. But I didn't know how to root Hoyas. I kind of was just buying cuttings and not researching how to root them properly. But this one, if you guys saw my Hoya tour video or my unboxing for this plant, I got it just like this in these two little cups with a pond, And it was an established plant. It had an established root system. So I have kept it in this pot. I fertilize it regularly in every watering like I do for all of my Hoyas. And it has been growing like crazy. I have peduncle here, peduncle here, and a growth point here, a growth point here, and I think that's it. I took a cutting a couple of nights ago and I plan to add it back to the plant. I'm going to repot this one, put it in a nice, cute little trellis, and it's going to look fuller with the other cutting. So yeah, it's a win-win. So here it is, my Hoya Lima Splash. It is so cute. All right, bonus shot. If you saw my last video of Hoya repots, you know that I absolutely butchered the roots of this plant to put it in this pot. But I'm happy to say it was worth it. We've got new leaves everywhere. Okay, and we got roots, and it looks like we have a peduncle. It's too tiny for you to see it on the camera, but it looks like we might have a peduncle, so that's awesome. This is a plant that I definitely want to have a really full pot. So right now I can't really take cuttings because I want those leaves to fully develop and see if that's an actual peduncle and let it grow. But once we find out if that's a peduncle, I would love to take just a couple of single note cuttings and put it in a larger pot, larger trellis, and just have a very luscious and full Wilbur Gray silver. I just really wanted to show you the Hoyas that I've been absolutely sweating lately. And I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.